All right, so welcome back to Video Mix. This is your brother, the one Faisal, and I told you that we were gonna have a very extra special guest with us this afternoon, and we got my man. He finally landed and touched down. We got Dice Raw, who is one of the original troopers with the legendary Roots crew, right? Right, Dice, take us back a little bit, man. I mean, my first intro was Philadelphia Half-Life in 1996, man. But let's go back a little bit more, man, to your introduction to hip-hop.
Okay, well, my introduction to hip-hop, it came way early, you know, saying especially in the 80s. You know, hip-hop was such a standard for the neighborhoods, you know, all across America. So it was so popular in my neighborhood, breakdancing, DJing, writing graffiti, MCing, that it was like my natural progression to do one of those different things. And me, I tried all of it. I tried to be a DJ. I used to write graffiti like every day, all day, 24 hours a day. You know, breakdancing on cardboard. But one day somebody asked, I was just talking, I told somebody I could rap. I never rapped before, ever. Never even said a rhyme out loud, never. And they was like, you can't rap. They was like, say something. I spit something off at the top, and the look on that person's face, he was like, yo, that was good. I was like, that was good?
That was good.
I was like, well, I got plenty of that whack. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I can spit that whack all day, you know what I mean? But I started MCing around the neighborhood, and more people started liking it and giving me notoriety, and you know, I liked it. You know, I liked to be accepted by other people and different people in the neighborhood. Always wanted to hear me rap, and you know, so that's how I started. But my introduction into, like, you know, making records and all that stuff, you know, come from the legendary Roots. You know, their former manager Richard Nichols, my former producer Kenyatta Saunders, Kilo, who, you know, he moved on to do other things with Jay-Z, Eminem, all these different people.
Right.
But that's the foundation for me, is the Roots, Richard Nichols, Kilo, Kenyatta Saunders. You know, so.
You know that it's interesting you say that, man, because how you mentioned that's such an incubator for so many people, like, you know, go on and work with Jay-Z, go on and, now that Philadelphia Half-Life album had a Mel LaRue, D'Angelo was on that album. So go back to that time period, man. You know, you're 18, 17 years old. What were you thinking at that time when that record was being made?
You know, I really was just thinking about being creative. I really wasn't, you know, taking life too seriously, really. Right. I knew I wanted to be an artist. I was putting artistry first, studio first, you know, beats first, writing first. You know, everything was first. You know, everything was second to music, you know, so, but it wasn't even like a conscious effort, like, okay, I want to be successful in the music industry, so I'm going to do this. It's like, no, I just want to make music. I didn't ever even line money and artistry up together, you know what I mean? It was just like,
but you
art,
know,
art.
One of the things that I found that you did line up, and that the album did line up, was there was always an underlying message,
of course,
in the music. And so though the money may not have been, you know, one of
focus.
the driving, like there was theology on there, and there was politics on there, and what were y'all feeding on at that time to be at such a young age? What was the vibe at that time?
Well, I mean, I think a lot of the vibe for us is being like as young as you know, described as we were at the time. It was what our parents were into, you know, coming out of the civil rights movement. You know, a lot of our parents were conscious. You know, I know my mom was. I know Tariq's mom was. I know his father was a Muslim. I know that Malik was, you know, Islamic. And I mean, we all had these different backgrounds, you know. And I think like our parents coming out of that civil rights movement really kind of just had such an impact on us. And then coming out of that, growing up listening to KRS-One, going up listening to Chuck D, you know, going up listening to even Rakim, you know, I mean, it just had us in this different realm. And then, and plus we were all art kids too, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the Roots went to School of Performing Arts. I was at Freedom Theater, you know, as a kid, you know, so we always gravitated towards the alternative style of hip hop versus whatever was the popular thing to do. Like, gangster rap kind of like having like a dominant force in hip hop never really appealed to us. One, because, you know, Black Thought, his father was murdered, you know what I'm saying, in a violent street, you know, incident. So his brother spent a lot of time in jail. So usually when you get around people like that who know what giving your life to the streets, they want to go the opposite direction. You know what I'm saying? And me, my uncles, constantly incarcerated, growing up in a crack-infested neighborhood. And I hung out with those kind of people, but I never wanted to be like them. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
I always wanted to be different. I always wanted to be like De La Soul. Always wanted to, Q-Tip, Tribe Called Quest, that appealed to me more than NWA. Even though I listened to it and I liked it, I just didn't see them and see myself, kind of. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I tell you what, man, we're gonna jump into the future.
Okay.
In a minute, but before we jump into the future and get into the last Jimmy, which is what you're here for, we're gonna go back a little bit.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna go back to a thin line between what?
Oh, thin line between Raw and Jiggy.
We're gonna go back to a thin line between Raw and Jiggy. Don't go anywhere. We're here at the Adrian R. Center. We got my man Dice Raw. We're gonna get back into one of the most important plays, theatrical performances, and just stay tuned. This is Video Mix.